Hey, so sometimes you're sitting in a living room and somebody in your house sprays a perfume in another room, and mostly you will be able to smell that particular fragrance and you will be like, okay, kind of smells nice. But what if you smell the same fragrance everywhere in the house, or maybe you walked across to a staircase and you walked down, or you walked about, let's say, 20 feet from the place where you were living, and still you were able to smell that particular fragrance, and it is masculine, it is sweet, and at the same time very captivating. Wouldn't you get interested? Well, that's exactly what happened with me, and this is what happened with this particular fragrance from the house of Zimaya. This is called as Zukraf. Now, this is what my brother wore a couple of times, and every time he wore it, forget about the space where he was, I could smell it pretty clear. But even 20 feet aside, when he had passed back to work, I could still get a trail of this particular fragrance, and it was really, really good. And I thought, okay, if this is something crazy, because it smells very unique and very different, and I thought I should definitely review this for you and let you know what a beautiful sillage this particular fragrance has. And I'm talking about from the house of Zimaya. This is called Zukraf, and let's get into this particular video where we'll talk about the scent profile of this particular fragrance and what makes this different compared to the other dupes of this particular same DNA that's inspired from. You're watching the Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney. Let's get into this video right after this intro. Alright, welcome back. So this particular fragrance, the Zimaya Zukraf, looks very, very beautiful. In fact, I think it's one of the nicest presentations that you could find. A very simple, classy presentation that you see a very nice kind of artwork, right? Now, the thing about it is, the moment you lift it, you see the bottle fit like this, and this is the hollow space that they've given. So it's got a very unique element that captures your senses, which I think is a very good job done. Okay, now we actually got this in decants, and this was one of the picks that Shikhar did, because he kind of likes this DNA a lot, and he said that we should definitely explore this particular fragrance, try it out. And I really think that the bottle is really, really good looking, and there are a couple of more fragrances in the same line which are, I think, feminine fragrances. However, since this was in decants, there is hardly any amount of juice left in this, and unfortunately, because this is a completely dark black colored bottle, you don't really get to see the level of juice. Okay, so I will do a couple of sprays because there are the last few things, but the thing is, the sprayer is really, really good. It does spray very, very nicely, and it is a fragrance that you immediately kind of recognize, especially if you are a big fan of the Sauvage Elixir line. Okay, now that I think is a DNA which is one of those beautiful masculine new modern men fragrances, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. And I think this is a DNA that is very masculine because it is very sweet, it is nutty, it has got a woody element, it has got a minty freshness to it. Overall, I think it composes as one of the finest fragrances that you can wear, because it is absolutely stunning. Now, this fragrance has had a twist with this one. They have made a twist of this one, because otherwise there is no point in reviewing this when you already have Latafa Asad and you already have Kadlaj Gate as some super fantastic fragrances in this particular line. Now, I'll talk to you about what's different about it, but predominantly, if I were to talk to you about the scent profile, for the ones who don't know Sauvage Elixir line, it is a sweet, aromatic, oriental spicy fragrance, which has got a lot of nutmeg, lavender, a good amount of, let's say, for example, woody elements, minty element, and a nice woody dry down is something that you kind of get on this particular fragrance. Now, the other element which makes this particular fragrance very, very good, or the Sauvage Elixir DNA, is the inclusion of licorice. Now, licorice is a kind of thing that is, in cakes it is used. It's got a very chocolatey type of a vibe, but at the same time it's got a more tar-like texture. It's more nutty, it's more bitter. Okay, and this has also got a lot of amber as well, so that is another element what makes Sauvage DNA very, very nice. Now, the twist that they have gone for this particular fragrance is the inclusion of two things which I found very interesting. One is iris, the second is coffee. Okay, now what happens because of this is the moment it opens up or when you put it on, it kind of smells exactly similar to any other Dear Sauvage Elixir dupe. Okay, it's got that same oriental, a spicy element. It's got that nutmeg. It's got that lavender. Those things remain same. It's got that ambriness. After the first 5-10 minutes time, you get a nice, good, light hint of iris, which makes this particular fragrance very beautiful. You get a nice amount of iris, something like a very umo intense kind of a powdery kind of a slight vibe. Okay, not very much, but light hint of it, because of which it smells nice. After the 20-30 minutes time, when it goes into the dry down, where there is that sandalwood, the licorice and the amber elements coming in this particular fragrance, that's where you also get a coffee dry down on this, which makes this particular fragrance exclusively beautiful. Now the coffee dry down is actually very nice and makes this whole package very nice, because in most Sauvage Elixir DNAs, the nutmeg and the oriental spices are the dominating ones. They overpower the rest of the fragrance. But in this case, it's a very good balance between the coffee, the licorice, the sandalwood, and of course the beautiful amount of cardamom and the lavender and the nutmeg that comes in this particular fragrance, making it a very spicy, woody, nutty, beautiful iris, powdery kind of a fragrance. Okay, and that twist is what I kind of like, because this particular fragrance is, in my opinion, more wearable, more easier to wear, because it is not as crazy loud as Gate. Okay, it kind of sits in between Asad and Gate, so there is a right balance of how it kind of projects. It projects really well. Like I said, it would do easily about 2 feet, but it doesn't project for a very long time like the other DNAs do. Like especially if you think about Gate or if you think about Asad, they project much longer. So this will kind of do a projection for about, let's say, 45 minutes to 1 hour, and then it starts to sober down. It goes softer, and while that softness happens, this makes this particular fragrance very good for office use, because it's more easier to wear that way. And in terms of lasting, this easily does about 5-6 hours, which is pretty decent when you compare with Gate and Cutler's Asad, because they perform a little longer, definitely. So I kind of liked it the way it performs this way. And the best part that I liked is the sillage that this particular fragrance leaves, even in hot weather or in cold temperatures. Wherever you walk, the moment this person has walked by it, you will know that you've smelled something nice. And that's the beautiful thing about this Zukraf that I kind of liked. And I feel this is an underrated fragrance which is not spoken about much. So if you are looking to get a Sauvage Elixir dupe or a DNA inspired fragrance with a slight twist to it, which is a more masculine scent, which is more neutral, which is more balanced in terms of the loudness, the projection, and something that you can wear comfortably without having to think, will I annoy anybody? This is easily done, and you don't need a lot of sprays. Again, you can wear about 5-6 sprays, and I think you should be sorted, especially if you're looking for a casual wear or if you're looking for something for office use kind of a thing. Okay, and like I said, again, the best part about it is the iris and the coffee inclusion, which makes this particular fragrance really smelling nice. And sometimes you think fragrances are something, because when I looked at the bottle initially and when I sniffed it first, I didn't really take it very seriously, thinking, okay, is this going to be a great fragrance or a good fragrance? But when my brother wore it and when he was walking around with it, and even today morning when he left the house, that trail that this particular fragrance leaves, that's something interesting, because that is the thing that's going to get you compliments. That's the kind of thing that people will notice about you, and that's what makes fragrances very interesting. Okay, so you should be able to get this for about sub 2000 rupees, is in my opinion. That's what the price tag of this particular fragrance should be. We have it in decant, so in case you are looking to try this particular one, definitely try it and let me know what are your thoughts about other Zimaya fragrances. I will do another review of Zimaya's Absolute as well, which is another great fragrance. I also have Rasasi's Brilliant Silver. This is a fantastic fragrance. Again, I will talk about this very soon as well. So if you kind of like the video, hit the like button, subscribe and share, and I will see you on another video. Until another time, take care. Bye-bye.